William here, Patriot Containers. You clicked on this video because you want to know how to get a good deal on a cargo container. The problem with that question and answering that correctly is you have to ask yourself, what is a good deal? You'd be surprised on how many people want to buy a 5,000 or a 8,000 pound 20 footer or 40 footer, and they think buying from the person that gives them the cheapest price is the best deal. I'm here to tell you that that's the worst advice I could give you. And most sales companies are going to quote you extremely high on new, and then they're going to quote you extremely low on cheap, rusty junk with or without holes. You as a buyer or you as a shopper fall into three categories. You're going to buy new, you're going to buy a quality used one, or you're going to buy a crappy one. That's it. The point of my videos is to help you make an educated purchase. I also want to warn you guys of what you're up against. There's scams nowadays that con you into paying in a format of payment where you can't get your money back, and there never was a container and there never was a company. It's an overseas website that was built starting around COVID to the present day, and they're making these websites constantly. It sucks because I've been selling containers for 14 years, and I remember when those scams weren't around, you guys had no problem paying with debit or credit card. Now it's a huge issue and everybody's scared to buy a container. It sucks. That's the point of my videos, one of them. So yeah, I run into a lot of customers that think they're going to buy a container from just whoever gives them the cheapest price. You have scams, you have bad companies, and you have very, very rare good companies. A bad company they're not going to look at quality. They're going to try to win you over with a low price. They make you sign terms and conditions, which allows the company to charge you guys fees for money that's not owed to them for the company's failures, not yours. They just tricked you and they trapped you into a financial trap. And you can't get out unless you lose money. Then you have good companies that actually want to deliver on the right day and then show up with either a really nice new one, or that company actually purchases good quality containers, and that's what they sell and that's what they deliver. A good company that wants to sell you a good product is not going to be the cheap company selling you a crappy product. Cheap is cheap, and it's not nice. If you made it this far in my video, I've been owner-operator with no employees for 12 years, and I've estimated sold probably about 20,000 plus containers in 12 years. And I'm probably the only company in America that literally has zero complaints online. I don't abandon my customers. I don't have cancellation fees. I don't have restocking fees. I don't keep your delivery money. I don't keep your pickup money. And I don't make my customers sign terms and conditions, which protects my business from my buyers. That being said, even though I don't have any of that, I also don't have any complaints because I push people into better containers, and I use the truth to not oversell it, but to sell it with the truth so you're not confused on delivery day. I communicate very well. I communicate to avoid problems. Lack of communication is very bad in this industry. Lack of communication with drivers, lack of communication with customers. So many things can go wrong when buying a container. So if I'm telling you buying a used container from the wrong company for whoever gives you the cheapest price, if that's a bad idea and probably the worst thing you can do, what do I consider a good deal? And I'll tell you this right now. If you want a perfect container that's tan or gray and the best thing money will buy you, you have to buy a new one, okay? If somebody mentions they want new, I never ever offer used. If I do that, it's kind of like listening. I know you want this, but I'm going to try to sell you this. Don't do that. Give the customer with what they want. There's companies that don't listen to you when you're picky, And then there's companies that embrace picky customers, because if you give a picky customer with what they want, they're happy. If you give an unpicky customer with what they want, they're usually unhappy. If you give a picky customer something that they don't want, they're going to be pissed off. What's my definition of the best deal? It's pretty simple. I think it's the best container you want at the right price. Not trying to sell you something cheap and junky at a low price and then finding out that you hate it, because then in the end you're not going to be a happy customer. So that's not a good deal. So I guess the reason I'm making this video is about a year ago I found a YouTube viewer that found my videos, and he bought a brand new one-trip container. And he calls me back and goes, "Hey, William, I want another one, but I want the second one to be used." And I go, "Gosh, you already bought the best. You already bought the best. You know what that looks like. You shouldn't buy a used one after that." So he insisted that we bring him a used one. I said, "Well, I'm going to send you pictures of the used one before we bring it to you." And so we did. He didn't like it. I didn't like it. Driver didn't like it. The shipping line didn't even like it. And so we didn't bring him the container. And I told him I'm going to have to reevaluate this. So we leave the container at the depot. And I found a container that I'm not going to tell you what it's called, but I've been selling these across the United States nationwide now, because they cost a little bit more than used, but they cost way less than new. And it's the nicest condition I've ever seen for the least amount of money. So here you got rusty junk that's cheap. Here you got a quality used container that costs more. Here you got new, the best. But then now I've been selling this container, and to be honest, it's the container I would buy for myself, so I'm going to tell you to buy it. So every time I see them, I'm going to do with whatever it takes to make people buy that container. It's like you're paying a little bit more than a quality used container, but you're almost getting this new one-trip quality. They sell very well, and I've never had an unhappy customer with them. So the title of this video: how do you get a good deal on a cargo container? When you're purchasing a cargo container, it depends on who you ask. It depends on who you are. If you want a piece of junk, you're going to buy a piece of junk. If you tell somebody, "I don't care about how it looks," boom, you're going to get a crappy container. The salespeople that you guys talk to are lying to you about conditions, cosmetics, and function. The way they get away with it is they say wind and watertight, which is a very vague terminology. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I purchase wind and watertight containers, if I was to purchase 100 wind and watertight containers, I bet you 90 of those containers are going to look horrible. And maybe 5 to 10 might look okay. Well, I don't like selling okay containers, or the word acceptable. Acceptable means you don't like it, you're not going to call me back, but you're not going to deny it. You just, whatever, That's not a good way to feel when you buy an 8,000 or 5,000 pound container. So yes, William at Patriot Containers advises buying the best container you can buy at the right price. So on delivery day, you're happy with the price. I'm happy, driver's happy, you as a customer are happy, everybody's happy with no complications. That is the best deal. If your standards are so high on a cargo container, buy a new one. If you're willing to sacrifice just a little bit of quality, call me. I've been selling these kind of like, I guess, special containers that I've been finding lately, and they're everywhere. Not all the time, but they pop up, and some places have a lot of them, some places have one. If it's there, that's the container you're going to buy from me, because it's the best deal. You're getting the best quality for the least amount of money. That, to me, that's the best deal for you. There's no point. If that container is available, I'm going to tell you not to buy the new one trip. Because you can save almost $1,000 and get something that's so close to that. Might not be the same color, but you're purchasing the quality, not the color. If you want to purchase color, you have to buy the new one, and you have every right to demand with what color that you want it to be if it's available. If it's not available, coming from a honest, trustworthy company, they're going to tell you, sorry, that color is not available. You only have this, and it's up to you whether you want to buy it or not. But yeah, what's the best deal for a cargo container? It ain't whoever gives you the cheapest price. 95% of brokers are outbidding each other for who can sell you and who can close you and who can put you into that financial trap of the crappiest container that money will buy you. And they ain't going to be honest about it. They're going to tell you it's fine and dandy. It ain't going to be with what shows up. So, yeah, remember, you're either going to buy new, quality used, or crappy. Which one are you? All right, guys, have a great one. Goodbye.